The Cobbler Sage of the Tenderloin. Chapter 1. The Quiet Shoemaker in the Tenderloin. Alonso García was approaching 90 years old. His memories stretched back across nearly a century, though he seldom spoke of them unless prompted. He was content to let the well-worn walls of his shoe repair shop in San Francisco's Tenderloin district do the talking for him. Faded photographs, tacked along the walls, depicted a long-lost era. Men in fedoras, women in flapper dresses, people long since departed. And there, at the center of it all, stood the diminutive figure of a young Alonso, looking simultaneously timid and determined. The neighborhood itself had changed drastically over the 7 decades Alonso had lived there. When he had first arrived from Spain, the Tenderloin was already rough around the edges, but nowhere near the patchwork of homelessness, addiction, and everyday struggle it would later become. Though violence sometimes bled into this district, and though the nights could be filled with uncertainty, Alonso never left. He had no interest in living in the safer or more glamorous parts of San Francisco. The Tenderloin was his home, and Soul Repair, as his shoe shop was called, was an institution. Within that narrow storefront of no more than 800 square feet, wooden shelves rose from floor to ceiling, holding boxes of nails, jars of polish, lumps of leather, and all manner of shoe forms. An aged sewing machine, older than many of his customers' parents, sat in a corner. On the countertop, a small glass jar held a scatter of coins from various countries, tips from grateful clients over the decades. Above the door hung a simple wooden sign that read, Soul Repair. The letters were etched in a nondescript font. Anyone passing by might not even notice it. But for those who cared about such things, or for those whose shoes had been battered by the rough sidewalks, that sign was as comforting as a lighthouse to a ship in fog. Behind the modest shop space was a cramped back room, separated only by a faded curtain. It was there that Alonso performed most of his intricate work, polishing, stitching, rebuilding soles, reshaping warped leather. And behind a door in that workshop lay an even smaller living space, a place so narrow and unremarkable that newcomers might not believe someone actually lived there. Yet that was Alonso's bed, his chair, and a tiny table where he ate his simple meals of bread, olive oil, and cheese. Despite being nearly 90, Alonso was surprisingly nimble. He was short and had a stooped posture from years hunched over shoes, but his hands moved with remarkable precision and strength, pulling sturdy needles through thick soles. He had developed a methodical rhythm over the years, stitch, pull, knot, trim, that kept time with the battered old radio in the corner, often tuned to classical guitar or flamenco.